Hi all. Today we are attempting a problem known as unique paths. This has a pretty high occurrence when considering the coding rounds, right? Firstly we'll be discussing the problem statement, and after that we'll discuss the various approaches for this problem, and after that we'll solve it via one of those approach. Okay. So in this question we have m cross n grid, and the robot is located at the top left corner and he has to reach the bottom right corner, and we have to find the total number of unique paths that the robot can follow. Now what makes this question pretty easy is that there is no blockers in between. Anywhere you can traverse on any of the cells, and also it has been given to us that the robot can only move either downwards or either right direction. Okay, so that makes it pretty easy. So firstly, let's see an example one. Here we have a 3 cross 7 grid and the output is 28, which means that there are 28 unique paths that the robot can follow in order to reach from the start point to the finish point. Okay, let's actually consider a small example to understand better. Here we have a 3 cross 3 grid, right? So firstly, let's try to manually count the unique paths, and after that, we'll try to automate it. Cool. So, right, this is the start point, the top left corner, and this is the destination. Okay, so I think this is the first path that the robot can follow. After this, he can maybe follow this path. Okay, after this, he can also follow this path. There is nothing wrong with this. Um, Now for the next path, maybe this path, right? These are all unique paths. See, we are not, traversing that same path again. These are all unique. And also, you can't, traverse in this way. Reason being the robot can only move in the bottom direction, in the right direction. So this is an invalid path. Uh, what other path can he follow? He can do this, true. Um, and yeah, this. Other than this, I don't think there is any other unique path that the robot can follow, right? So for now, my answer will be 6. All right, so let's test it out if the answer is correct or not. We can just, give the m crossing. We have 3 cross 3, and let's try to submit this. Oh, shit, I should have run the code. My bad. Okay, so we have 6, which means that our answer is correct, right? This is the way that uh, these are actually the total number of unique paths that the robot can follow. Okay, now let's talk about the different approaches that one can take. True. So, firstly, um, you can do it using backtracking. How you can consider all the cells as a source point. This will remain as a destination, and you can just you can use those as a you can use the boundary as a constraint. Also you can keep checking are you at the destination or not after moving to the bottom direction or the right direction, and as soon as you are available at that point, as soon as you reach your destination, you can mark that as one. So that is how you can do backtracking. I'll give you a small example. So at every point you go both direction. Okay, at every point you go both direction. So this is your one, and after that again you'll go both direction. I'm right now only just following one path, and again sorry, keeping the constraints in mind that I can't go direction. This is wrong. You can keep traversing all the points, the bottom and the right. You can't again go bottom, that is out of your boundary, and then right. So as soon as you reach this point, I'm sorry, not cross, as soon as you reach this point, it will account as one correct step. Okay, so you can actually increment the counter of your unique paths, and following the same process you can just keep reaching out to different possible paths, and uh, similarly you can just keep incrementing your counter, and at the end when you have traversed all the cells again and again, you'll have your total count. Your counter will show you the total unique paths. That is one of the approaches you can take, and that is known as backtracking for this. I won't be using that approach here. Reason being, it has a very high complexity, but the modified, or you can say the better version for that you can use is called memoization. Basically it's the uh, your DP approach, here the difference will be, you'll be at every point you'll be storing, you instead of traversing the same point again and again, you'll actually be storing the values. If you have, let's say if you have maybe traverse this point once, then you'll store that the total number of unique paths at this point were, let's say, for now let's say 5, that the total number of unique paths at this point were 5. So when you again come to this point, instead of solving it again, you just say that okay, I have come here once and the unique paths were 5. So instead of solving it again, you will be just using the stored value, and that will increase your time complexity, sorry, that will decrease your time complexity, right? So that is one approach that you can take. The other one will be tabulation. So that is again a DP approach. One was your bottom up, and then other is your top down approach. So you can also use tabulation to solve this problem. And actually, for this particular problem, I'll be using tabulation as my final solution. Uh, so we'll be going it into depth in just a few seconds. The other approach that you can take uh, here is the binomial coefficient approach. If there is a m cross n grid, right, then it means that you have m into n cells, right? And out of these m into n cells, you are supposed to find the total number of unique paths. So in a way, it becomes the total way of selecting a path from the start point to destination points. You have, if I consider m as your rightward points and your n as your downward points, then you have m minus 1 plus n minus 1 total way, total points that you are going to be traversing. And you can take their combination with maybe m minus 1 or n minus 1 points, and that will lead you to the total number of unique paths of selecting those points. Now this is actually this is a pretty decent process, but right now we are not going to this in this, but I have actually added a GFG link for this particular approach. You can check it out there. So for this for actually today's problem, I'll be using tabulation approach. If you want me to take any other approach, you can just ping me down in the comment section. All right. I'll take the same example that we used to find out the solution. Okay. So as we all know that this is our source and this is our destination, right? So now we'll try to traverse the path, but this time we'll try to find patterns. Cool. So let's say I want to reach this point, the one at the bottom. I want to reach this point. So how many total ways are there that I can, you know, uh, I can come here via source? So there is only one way, right? So let's mark this as one. Great. Now let's talk about this point. How many total ways are present in which I can come here from source? Again, there is only one way. You can only come this way, right? You can't go this way or anything else. There is no such ways possible. So again, there is only one answer, right? Now, what about this point? Uh, Again, there is only one way you can come, and that is this direction, right? Similarly, what about this point? There is again only one way you can come from this direction. True? Great. Now let's talk about this point. By the way, right now you might be this is actually we are just trying to find some patterns. So here you might be noticing that in the edges, in the left and the top edges, there is only one way possible, and that is true. You can't actually move any other way, right? So now let's talk about this point. What are the total number of unique ways that you can come here? So manually we can say that there are two unique ways you can come to this point. True. So the answer is two, right? Now you can actually automate this process instead of calculating it, instead of actually creating those paths. And what will that be? Let's see. In order to reach this point, what are the just immediate preceding points? So that will always be this point and this point. What I mean by that is, since the robot can only move in two directions, that is the right direction and the bottom direction. In order to the robot can only move two directions. So if the robot wants to come to this point, what are the two ways from which he can come? He can either come from the top direction, right? or it can either come from the right direction, sorry, from the left direction. True. So basically, there is only one way. Always, there will be only one way from which the robot can come from. Let's say, let's call it A point and let's call it B point. So there is always going to be only one way via which the robot can come from A point to B point. True. And similarly goes from for this C point to B point. Okay. So can I say that the total number of ways, the total number of unique ways a person can reach B will always be the summation of the immediate preceding points of that point B. Here, that will be A plus C. So can I say that the value of B will always be A plus C? This is going to be true because the B is only reachable from A and C, right? And let's say maybe there were 10 ways to reach A and there were 20 ways to reach C. So the total ways a person can reach to C, a person can reach to B will always be 10 plus 20, 30, right? Let's try to think it again. A person can only reach B via A and C, true? And there are 10 ways a person can reach A. There are 20 ways a person can reach C. So the total number of ways the person can reach B will always be 10 plus 20, that will be 30, true? So that is the same analogy we are following in this particular question. And this is what we'll be doing in the same, same for everything. Now let's talk about this particular point. How many total ways are there that a person can, how many total number of ways, the total number of unique paths are present. So the person can only come from here or here, right? So the answer will be 3, true. Same goes for this point, the answer will be 3. And now what about this point? This destination is only reachable from these 2 points, right? So the answer will be 3 plus 3 and that will be 6. So this is a basic analogy that we are using to solve this question. Right. So in order to solve this question, what I'll do is I'll create a m cross n grid matrix whose value is initialized as 0, where the value of cell is 0 for initially. So we can just add it, right? So this will give us a m cross n matrix. Now let's try to solve this. So I'll try to traverse all of them. Right. Now this way I have traversed all of them. Now I'll be the first thing I'll be doing is I'll be setting my boundary condition. What was the boundary condition? That the edges of the top and the left side, they will always be equal to 1, right? So what I'll do is if I is equal to 0 or j is equal to 0, then what you can do is you can say that the path ij is equal to 1. Can we say that? Yes, we can say that. There is nothing wrong with that, right? Otherwise, what was the thing? What was the condition that we found? It was that B will always be equal to A plus C, which means that in order to find the total number of unique path at one particular point, you can do it via adding, by the summation of the unique paths from those 2 points where it was reachable from. Okay, so otherwise the value of path I and j will be, sorry, my bad, path I minus 1j plus path I j minus 1, right? So this should be our condition. Okay, also since we are traversing from 0 to m and 0 to n, and I'm in a way I'm trying to here access I minus 1, which means that maybe I can some way, if I is equal to 0, I can actually try to access 0 minus 1, that will be path minus 1. So will that pose me an issue here? No, it won't. The reason being, if I have actually already added the condition, if I is 0 or j is 0, then that will be treated here only and that will be treated as 1. So in a way I have already resolved that situation. Now what you can do is once you have written this condition, you can simply come, oh my, what have I done here? Right, you can simply come here and you can simply return path m minus 1 and n minus 1, and yeah, this will be a summation. Let's actually just try to run the code first. Great, you get 6 as the answer. Now let's try to just submit this code. True, this question works, right? One thing more that you can do to optimize this solution will be you can actually make it a little bit more space optimized. By how can you do that? So here I am actually using a m cross n matrix, but one thing that you'll always be noticing is that for for any given point you only need the value of its leftmost point and the topmost point, right? And nowhere, if you try to access it row by row, then at no particular point of time you want to access a point that is two rows above it, right? So you can actually try to optimize the space a bit just by using a single array. Okay. So let's actually also just in this question only, let's also try to make it a little bit space optimized. Let's see how we can do that. Okay, so firstly what I need to do is I need to create only a 1D array, right? And after that, for I in range of m, for j in range of n, if I is 0 or j is 0, path of j will always be equal to 1, that is true. Path of j, I'm just trying to manipulate the boundary conditions a little bit for the sake of 1D array. But as you can see, the whole picture is the whole idea is basically the same. If you are at the edges, then that will account as 1. Okay. Otherwise, the value will be equal to j plus j minus 1. Now let's try to run the code. Yeah. Now let's try to just submit this. Cool. So surprisingly, this has also made our code a little bit faster. But yeah, this is also a space optimized approach that you can take. Here we have only used, you know the space optimization is the space complexity is only order n, and the time complexity is order m cross n, right? So this is the approach that I've taken for tabulation. If you actually want a video on any other approach, just ping me in the comment section and we'll do that also. Also for the binary coefficient part, I have added a GFJ link. Try to understand it. If not, then just ping me, right? So that's all. Thank you.